Hey, what's up? Welcome to NeonMotions, and this is part 1 of 4 in a tutorial to create this virus particle effects in After Effects. In part 1, we create this illustration of these two viruses 100% in After Effects. In part 2, we set up a basic particle effects. In part 3, we loop our particle effects and we add on a few effects on top of it. In part 4, we use expressions to connect multiple viruses COM sources into the same particle effect. So let's get started. Control N to create a new comp. Just gonna name this as particles for now. I'm using a 1920 by 1080 30 frames per second at 30-second duration. So this is the main comp, but I will be creating another comp here that will be 400 by 400 pixels, and I will just call this virus-01. This is the video that I'm referencing. You can take a look at it. I took this screenshot here, and then I'm going to be looking at this particular virus shape and this particular virus shape as the reference I'm creating. So I'm creating this one first. So let's get going. I have an ellipse here. I'm gonna have a fill, give it a pink color first. Double click on the icon here so that it comes to the center. And let's do 180 size. So let's rename this as the body. Okay, so the next one, I'm gonna draw a stroke across. This will be the line, the blue line here, which is the stem of the spike. Gonna open up my title, save, open up my grid. Make sure I have a snap to grid on. Select my pen tool, turn my body off first. Then I'm gonna select the center, and then another one point here. And I'm just gonna select this, make sure it snaps to the middle. Same thing for this. So let's just rename this as our spike01, and I'm gonna alt click on fill to remove the fill. I'm gonna use a stroke instead. Because purple is fine. We can always change our colors later. Let me open up my stroke. Change the butt cap to round cap. Having my spike selected, I'm gonna create the circle, the kind of like the crown of the spike. Select my circle again. Gonna double click it. The ellipse will be created within the same spike one. I'm gonna add a fill in, and then let's make this smaller. Delete the stroke. Under position, I'm just going to move it over here. 100, that's fine. You can tweak it later after we set up the structure. Okay, so we have our ellipse and then we have our shape. Let's just rename our shape one as a stem and circle as the head, the ellipse as the head. Let's group them, bring our group outside, select our stem and control select our stem and our head, bring it into group 1. So let's just call this as spike group. Let's add a repeater. Open up the repeater, open up the transform repeater. Position, change to 0, and then rotation, we're going to rotate it outwards, 120. Coming back here to our reference. So you can see that we have 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 spikes. Yeah, since we have 8 spikes, means we need 4 repeats. So we need 4 repeats, and instead of 120, it will be 360 divided by 4. That will be 90 degrees. Yep. Under spike group, open up the transform, and you can see under position, X and Y, bring it out. So we are at -60. I would say reduce the path just a little, and then I will also reduce the head size just a bit to 50. You can make your own adjustments. So this is spike 1. This is our setup here. Open up our body, and I'm going to shift the group just a little bit inside to -50. So yep, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate our spike head and then rotate this 45 degrees. Okay, let's bring this all the way down. So we have one virus, and okay, second part, I'm going to add a little depth to this over here. As you can see, this virus has this extra bit of, you can call it shading, highlight, circle. I have my first ellipse here. Control D, duplicate. Just going to move it over here, make it a little smaller, and then push it to the side just a little. Okay, then merge paths. change the merge paths to intersect, and then I have this little intersect thing here. Delete away my stroke, so I have one fill. Okay, so let's group all this into one group. Ellipse 1, ellipse 2, merge paths, and fill put inside one group. So let's just call this shading. Duplicate ellipse 1, bring it out. Just rename this as the main body. Okay, so main body, just change the color a little. Okay, so let me just recap this. We have a main body circle here. This is a circle ellipse, nothing special. But using that, we have shading ellipse. Let me turn this main body off. So the main body, the shading is made up of one ellipse here. Ellipse 1 is the same as your main body size. So it's a duplicate. Ellipse 2 is a different one where I move it off to the side a little and make it slightly smaller, followed by a merge pass. So it has to be in this sequence, if not it won't work. So these two shapes first, followed by a merge pass, and then the fill, and then we put this main body below. Okay, so last one is to have another red circle in the center, the one that is false perspective. Duplicate my spike one and just delete everything except let me just delete this stamp, head, transform head, ellipse path to 0, and then just change back the transform. There we go. Let's just call this one spike head. Okay, so we're gonna just add a little depth or dimension to this, because you can tell by the way we layer this. Spike 2 is behind, so let's just add a hue saturation. I can just slightly change the hue just a bit, increase the saturation and lower the lightness. Let me turn off the grids. Okay, so things at the back, slightly darker, more saturated. And then this one, let me copy this hue saturation and paste it to my spike head, and then adjust it just a little, give it less saturation, a bit more lightness, and yeah, we get something like this. Alright, so we have created one virus. Let's create another virus. So Control D, virus 2, and what we're going to do is to create this. We're going to create this one here, this smaller little virus shape here. Let's delete everything except our body, and then we'll recreate with the circle again. Change the fill, alternate click on the stroke. Okay, ellipse path, make it real small. You can do 45 seems alright. Okay, so this is one dot. I'm gonna do a set of 3. So position, say about here, 92, whatever looks fine. Okay, looks. Add a repeater here. Click here, add a repeater. Open up repeater, transform again. Position 0. Let's put the rotation in. We should be doing 120. Looking at this reference, I think we can make it a little bigger. Make the circle maybe 50. Let's just rename this as balls. Balls 01. Control D, rotate this under transform. Okay, make sure you get the correct transformation. 60 degrees over. I'm gonna bring this down. You can use this bracket, control bracket, to shift between layers when you select them. This is behind, this is in front, and then we have another layer in front, more in front. Right? Very smart English. More in front. Ellipse, open up the ellipse again. Here we go, and then rotate this about 60 degrees again. Cool. And to give it a bit of that depth again, just gonna copy my hue saturation to the first item on top. Copy the hue saturation from the last item again. Paste it onto the last item. You can see that the stuff at the back, actually this is too saturated. Adjust it just a little bit. Alright, so we have created 2 viruses. I will create one more, which is just the little dots here. Let me duplicate virus 1, call it virus 3, open it up, delete everything except this spike head. Change the hue saturation. Let's go to our particle comp. Hey, thanks for watching part 1. Watch part 2 where we create a basic particle effect.